Signs that you're not commanding respect in the workplace as a female, and what you should do about it. Sign number 1. There is a boys' club happening at work, but you're not invited. There's talks in the boardroom, they go out for drinks after work, but you're never a part of those forums. Now, if that happens to you, you find yourself in a situation where there's a bit of a boys' club happening and you're being excluded, what do you do in that situation? Should you react emotionally? Should you get angry? Should you show your discontent? No, I don't recommend you do any of that, because that's going to further undermine your credibility and it's going to give them further reasons to avoid you. You see, if you find yourself in a situation where there's a bit of a boys' club happening at your workplace, what you need to do is you need to be calm and you need to approach it professionally, but with a bit of humor. Imagine going up to one of the leaders, the male leaders who is running these forums and saying, "Hey, what happened? I should be invited to these as well." This is the way you break the ice. You're also making it very clear that you're not offended, that you understand why boys get together. But you're also saying, look, as much as boys get together and they have their reasons to get together, I'd like to be a part of that forum. Or you're just going to do it with a bit of grace, a bit of humor, and professionally, and certainly do not show that you're offended. The second way that you know that you are not commanding the respect that you deserve in the workplace is that you're not getting any of the major assignments or projects. You're being given administrative tasks, you've been given operational work of a low value, but you're not being given tasks and projects where the money comes in. You're not being given assignments where you're dealing with a client relationship. You may be supporting a client, but you're not really taking the responsibility for a client relationship. If you find yourself in that situation, what should you do? One of the things you want to do is you want to make it very clear that you are ambitious. You're serious about making a contribution to the organization. And the way you do that is you approach the leaders in your organization, who may very well be males, and you say to them, look, I really love this organization, I enjoy working with you, and I find meaning in where this organization is headed. However, I'd like to be able to make a more meaningful contribution. And therefore, I respect you as my leader, and what I'd like you to do is, I'd like you to provide me with some input on my developmental plan. You see, when you do this, you do not trigger their ego. You actually sneak below triggering their ego. And what happens is these male leaders will want to help you. Because a lot of them have egos, and we know that. A lot of them, don't really want to support you and sometimes may even see you as a threat to their position. So you don't want to trigger that response. You don't want to trigger that instinct. What you want to do is you want to still make them feel important and say, look, I'd like your input on my developmental plan and I'd like to know what I can do to earn that position. When you talk to them like this, you're also showing you're not entitled. You're somebody who's prepared to do the work and earn that position. But also you are giving them the highest status and you're saying, look, I need your input on my developmental plan. So it doesn't look like you're competing with them, but you're asking them for support. And men actually love supporting women that ask for support, especially the men who are a little bit insecure. They want to just make, for them, they want to feel like they are the top bosses. Remember, as a woman, the man may be the head of your organization, but you could be the neck. And without the neck, the head doesn't move. The third sign that you may not be commanding the respect that you deserve in the workplace is that they joke with you, they flirt with you, but they don't actually have any serious conversations with you. Now, if you find yourself in that situation, what should you do? First of all, it's really important that you don't spend a lot of time on trivial talk. Avoid it as much as you can. Just say, look, excuse me, but I'm really busy. I've got to do this. I'd love to speak to you, but I've got things on my plate that I need to attend to. Don't get involved in flirting back. Do not get involved in joking around, and especially do not get involved in drama. Try not to express too much emotion. A little bit of emotion is fine. I always say, look, we're humans, we have to express emotion. But anytime you demonstrate that you're being consumed by your emotion, you may make a lot of friends, but you're going to lose your authority in the process. So make sure that you maintain some professional distance, be compassionate, be calm, but do not get involved in drama. Do not flirt back, and make it very clear that you don't have a lot of time for small talk and gossip. So if somebody wants to engage you in that, don't engage in that just for a few seconds. And generally you can just excuse yourself by saying, look, I'm busy, I've got a lot of things, I'd love to speak to you more, but I must get back to work, and excuse yourself. The fourth sign that you're not commanding the respect that you deserve in your workplace is that your male counterparts who are in the same position as you are making more money than you. Now, of course, people who are doing more work than you and are taking more responsibility than you, they deserve to get paid more, and I'm sure you'll agree with that. But when you see somebody being paid more than you for the same work in the same position, and you find out, then clearly that's an indication that you're not commanding enough respect in the workplace. Now, what should you do if you find yourself in that situation? First of all, I would say that don't react. Ensure that you do your research and find out that the person who's getting paid more than you is indeed doing the same work as you. Because the last thing you want to do is approach somebody and complain about it, bring up the issue, and then they tell you, look, that person has been doing more. And so you want to first make sure that you satisfy yourself through your own research that that person is not doing any more work than you. Second, it's not just about the work, it's also about the output. Make sure that you understand the difference between the outputs that they're producing and the output that you're producing, because you could be doing the same inputs, but if they're producing a superior quality output, they're producing better results than you, then you really may not have a basis to be a protest about the fact that they're getting paid more. So make sure that that is the case. Now, if you've satisfied yourself that they're putting the same amount of input, they've got the same output, same experience, same qualifications, but they're getting paid more than you, then I suggest you take this issue up with a relevant manager, maybe not the person you're reporting to. Or you might say, look, I have an issue that is bothering me, but I'd like to speak to you about it. And maybe first raise it with them rather than approaching human resources. But if you find that they're not approachable and you find that there's a high probability that they're going to treat you with contempt for bringing this issue up, maybe approach your human resources department, but be very professional about it. Also, I would say that be armed with some market research around what people generally get paid in the market for similar experience and qualifications, so you can make a case for wanting to negotiate a higher salary. You don't necessarily need to name names, but you can say, look, I'm very aware that there are people in the organization that are getting paid more money than me. Or you can also have a situation where there are people in your industry that are getting paid more than you, that for the same amount of work. And you might want to raise that issue, and you might want to gently say, look, I want something that I deserve, and here is the data to demonstrate that a person of my caliber, experience, and outputs is making this kind of money, and I'd like to use this as a basis to speak to you about what I can do to be on a similar market salary. I want you to understand, as a woman, wherever you are, if you work in an organization, there's always going to be some politics, there's going to be some unfairness, but that doesn't mean that you have to react emotionally. Always respond logically. Think through your response. Make sure you have a strategy to find a solution. Good luck.